You have always trusted it. That moment when your dog meets someone new and something shifts. The stillness, the low fixed stare, the refusal to approach no matter how many times the person holds out their hand. You have probably dismissed it as shyness, or overprotectiveness, or just your dog being strange that day. But there is a growing body of scientific evidence that says you should not dismiss it at all, because what your dog is doing in that moment is not reacting randomly. They are running one of the most sophisticated biological threat assessment systems that evolution has ever produced in a social animal. And if you think back carefully, you will probably remember at least one time when your dog was right about someone before you were. That is not a coincidence. That is neuroscience. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what your dog is detecting, how they are detecting it, and why their read on a person is often more accurate than your own. Let us start with something that will immediately reframe the way you think about your dog's social intelligence. In 2015, researchers at Kyoto University in Japan conducted a study that would change how scientists understood canine social cognition. They presented dogs with a scenario where their owner was struggling to open a container and asked two strangers for help. In one version of the scenario, the stranger refused to help. In the other, the stranger helped willingly. Afterwards, both strangers offered the dog a treat. The dogs who had watched a stranger refuse to help their owner consistently avoided taking food from that person. They did not forget. They did not forgive. They made a social judgment about a person based entirely on how that person treated someone the dog loved, and they acted on it. This was not trained behavior. No one taught these dogs to distrust unhelpful people. It was spontaneous social evaluation. The kind of moral reading that developmental psychologists previously believed was unique to human infants. Your dog is not just reacting to how a person treats them. They are watching how that person treats you. They are watching how that person treats everyone in the room. And they are forming a judgment that influences their behavior long after the moment has passed. But social observation is only the first layer of what your dog is doing when they assess a person. The second layer goes far deeper, and it operates completely below the threshold of human perception. Your dog's nose contains up to 300 million olfactory receptors. You have approximately 6 million. But the difference is not just numerical. The part of your dog's brain dedicated to processing scent information is proportionally 40 times larger than the equivalent region in your brain. Scent is not just one of your dog's senses. It is their primary reality. When a person enters a room, your dog receives an immediate chemical biography of that individual. They detect cortisol, the stress hormone your body secretes when you are anxious, threatened, or suppressing an emotion. They detect adrenaline, the compound your body releases when your fight or flight system is activated. They detect micro variations in sweat composition that change measurably when a person is lying, concealing anger, or experiencing fear they are attempting to hide. Here's what makes this remarkable. A person can control their facial expression. They can control their tone of voice. They can smile warmly and speak gently and make deliberate eye contact, but they cannot control their biochemistry. The moment a person feels genuine aggression, dishonesty, or predatory intent, their body begins producing chemical signals they have no conscious access to. Signals that are completely invisible to other humans. Signals your dog reads the moment that person walks through the door. Dr. Gregory Burns, a neuroscientist at Emory University who spent years conducting MRI studies on conscious dogs, found that the canine brain's caudate nucleus, the region associated with reward anticipation and threat processing, activates differently in response to the scent of familiar humans versus strangers. And within the stranger category, the activation pattern changes again based on the chemical profile of the scent. Your dog's brain is running a biochemical background check on every person it encounters in real time, without any effort or training. The third layer of your dog's threat assessment system is the one that scientists find most surprising, because it reveals something about dogs that almost no other animal on Earth can do. It is called social referencing, and it is a behavior your dog shares with human infants under 18 months old. When your dog encounters an uncertain situation, a new person, an unfamiliar environment, a stimulus they cannot immediately classify, They look back at you, not randomly, not out of habit, deliberately. They are checking your face for emotional information that will help them calibrate their own response. But here's the detail that stops researchers. Scientists at the University of Lincoln discovered that dogs spontaneously look to the left side of a human face when reading a person's emotional state, not the right side, the left. And that is significant because the left side of a face is controlled by the right hemisphere of the brain, the hemisphere where genuine involuntary emotion originates. The right side of a face is more easily controlled, more easily performed. The left side leaks. Your dog has evolved to look at the specific side of a human face where people cannot hide what they actually feel. They are not reading your expression. They are reading past your expression to the emotional reality underneath it. And they are doing this with every person they meet, synthesizing that reading alongside their olfactory assessment and their observation of how that person behaves toward the people they love. What your dog produces at the end of this process is not a feeling. It is a conclusion, a multi-source, cross-reference social evaluation of whether a specific individual represents a threat to the safety of their pack, arrived at in under 60 seconds. Now, you might be wondering, if dogs are this accurate, why do they sometimes react negatively to people who turn out to be completely trustworthy? This is the most important nuance in understanding your dog's threat detection system, and it is the thing that distinguishes a reaction worth paying attention to from a reaction that reflects your dog's own history, rather than the other person's character. Dogs who experience trauma or significant stress during their socialization period, roughly the first 16 weeks of life, can develop what behavioral scientists call generalized threat responses. A dog who was mistreated by a tall man with a beard may respond with alarm to all tall men with beards, not because those people are dangerous, but because their threat detection system has been calibrated by past experience rather than present reality. This is not a flaw in the system. It is the system working exactly as evolution designed it. In the wild, a social animal that survived a threat from a specific type of stimulus learned to be cautious around all similar stimuli. That caution kept them alive. In a domestic context, it sometimes produces false positives. The distinction that matters is this. A dog with a trauma history often shows generalized anxiety, uncomfortable with many people across many situations, and the discomfort tends to diminish gradually with repeated safe exposure. But a dog with no significant trauma history, who specifically singles out one person in a room full of people, relaxed with everyone else, and specifically alert with one individual, that is not generalized fear. That is targeted assessment, and it deserves your full attention. Knowing the difference between a dog's past and a dog's present, read on someone changes everything about how you respond to what you are seeing. And there are 3 specific things worth watching for the next time your dog goes still around someone. First, is this reaction specific to this person, or is your dog generally anxious in this situation? A dog who is uncomfortable with everyone at a gathering is showing you something about their own stress threshold. A dog who moves easily through the same gathering and fixes on one specific person is showing you something else entirely. Second, watch where your dog positions their body. A dog running a genuine threat assessment will almost always position themselves between you and the person they are watching, not beside you, between you and them. That is not aggression. That is protective instinct made physical. And once you start noticing it, you will not be able to unsee it. Third, notice the quality of their gaze. A dog who is simply uncomfortable will look away repeatedly. Averting their gaze is a calming signal, a way of reducing tension. A dog who holds a fixed, unblinking gaze on a specific person is not trying to reduce tension. They are monitoring. That single distinction, looking away versus holding steady, is the clearest signal your dog gives you that what they are doing is assessment rather than anxiety. You do not need to act on every reaction your dog has, but you should stop automatically overriding it. And the next time someone asks why your dog does not seem to like them, you do not have to have an answer. Your dog already does. We began with that specific moment, the stillness, the fixed stare The dog who simply would not warm to someone no matter what you did. Think about whether there has ever been a time, even once, when your dog held that stare at someone who later turned out to be exactly what your dog suspected. Most people, when they sit with that question honestly, can think of at least one. Your dog was not being difficult in those moments. They were not being antisocial or overprotective or strange. They were running a biochemical background check, reading the involuntary side of a human face, watching how that person treated the people they loved, and synthesizing all of it into a single quiet conclusion. The animal who greets you at the door every evening has been reading the people in your life with more accuracy than you knew. The question was never whether they could detect something real. The question was whether you were paying attention. If this video gave you a moment, a specific person, a specific reaction from your dog that suddenly makes a different kind of sense, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. Those stories are exactly why this channel exists. And if you want to keep going deeper into how your dog actually experiences the world, the next video is waiting for you right there. I will see you in it.